Well, it's been a long time since I came on here and was live. Uh, I don't know if anybody's going to come in here pretty quick or not, but uh, I'll put the first one up there. So there you go. There's my greeting this morning. I hope all of you had a good holiday meal yesterday. I spent part of my afternoon with my neighbors, and they graciously had invited me over for a Thanksgiving meal. And it's been a while since I've had a home cooked meal that was there was that much there. We had all the normal things: uh, turkey, dressing, scallop corn dish, green beans, mashed potatoes, seasoned, gravy with that. Oh, several different types of pies, deviled eggs. Oh my goodness, there was a lot of things. I don't know how many people will get on here. I didn't advertise that I'd be on here. This is just a spur of the moment. We got my first cup of coffee. And it tastes pretty decent. It's an old habit that I'm picking back up again. It does feel pretty good in the morning to have that cup, kind of an eye opener. This morning was like a lot of mornings, and my pup woke me up, and of course my cat was voicing her opinion for about a half hour before I actually got up. They get hungry in the morning. That's all they think about all night, I think, is morning meal. Uh, well, I was hoping there'd be some people show up this morning, and maybe they will. Maybe I'll just have to talk to myself out here on this live. Oh, goodness. I was looking at some of the other channels out there as well, little snippets here and there. I'm surprised at how much toxicity exists out there, even during a holiday. You'd think people would be so thankful that they would kind of resist the urge to go after other people, but that's not always the case. And it's unfortunate that we choose to do things like that. I think, with all the things that I've done or had to go through for the last, uh, what the hell's federal court, huh? Okay, fine. Looks like you got the crown this morning. Um, at least you're starting the day out on the right channel. I'm amazed. Here we go. See you in federal court, huh? Check mark. Well, have fun. That's all I can say. I didn't go into that channel yesterday, although I seen others. I think that there's enough toxicity in the world that I don't need to waste my time today on that kind of stuff. But it's open right now, so I'm a little surprised that that one was on here long enough to try to become a member. or a sub to my channel long enough to put a comment up. There we go. Scampy girl, I'm glad to see you. As you can see, Hales beat you to the comments in here. Not sure why. I guess he couldn't wait to show you how toxic he is. It's unfortunate he has to be that way. Hi, Phyllis. Good morning to you too. Yeah, Scampy. I'm with you. There's probably something going on there. I wasn't on here to spread any toxicity today, though. I came on here to, yesterday was a day of thanks. This great nation celebrates it. Has a lot to do with our Constitution and the rights it gives us, and we're all able to celebrate those things, and I'm glad for that. As I started out this morning, I was surprised at how much toxicity was out there, that on a day of thanks, there were so many that were attacking others on here. And there wasn't a need for it, I don't think, yesterday. We have all these days of the year to do that. And we are headed into one of the best times of the year, and that's when we're going to celebrate Christianity. We're going to celebrate Christ's birth. And it's because of him that we can enjoy the fruits out here that he gives us freely. And the belief that he died for our sins is what binds us together and gives us hope into seeing those that have passed before us. And this has been one of the most crucial times in my life where, even though I've lost the people closest to me, and my hope is that I'll be able to see them sooner than later. But other than that, I'm happy to see all of you in here. And I came on here without advertising it. It's just something new to try. Just to let you know, I am kind of back into the mode of coffee. And this is a mixture of coffee and latte type ingredients. I see Bearded Fisherman, you've came on here. You're welcome to come on here. Bonnie, I'm glad to see you here. Says I'm here for a minute anyway. Okay, Bonnie. I know it's early in the morning, and hopefully most of you had the weekend off to make it a nice long 4-day weekend to enjoy. As you know, here in the state of Iowa, we're headed for maybe up to a foot of snow. I think my area is supposed to get around 8 to 9 inches, and it's cold. Right now, it's about 14 degrees out there. Light wind. I'm assuming it's going to kick up quite a bit, at least according to the forecast by tomorrow. It's going to be one of them days where we'll stay home tomorrow for sure. I think, let me expand this so I can see it a little better. There we go. That makes it easier for me to see the comments over here. I thought today I'd spend more time in the comments to see how you had for a day. And I see Kimberly there. Good morning to you too. Steffi, good to see you here. And yeah, it looks like you're going to have snow too. Yeah, I think I remember you saying, I think you live west of me, but I'm not sure. Bonnie, it looks like you're going to get more snow in southwest Michigan. I think so. That storm looks like it's going to spread out quite a ways. We're getting a mixture from clear out to coming across the Rockies and mixing with the moisture from a little bit of it from the Gulf, and going to be pushing in from the cold front from Canada, and it's going to inundate all of us. Did all of you have a good Thanksgiving? I know one for me, I did. The neighbors supposedly that people had checked on to make sure uh, about me. Well, Rich, you're on there too. Great. I'm glad to see you here. Did you know that you and I have getting famous? The other day, somebody took the time out to email me so that I would know that I got this dummy award. And your partner out there, I think he got the first one. I'm not sure, Michael. Uh, Rich, oh my goodness. I guess we're going to be the recipient of all kinds of things over the next uh, few days or more. People, as some of these toxic channels, when they've had a little time off, they have more time to think and they come up with all these stupid phrases, but so be it. Yesterday, well, it's one of the first times I even took seconds at a mealtime for quite a while. The turkey and dressing and scalloped corn and loaded potatoes and there was mac and cheese, believe it or not, too, and a little bit of everything. Yeah, Rich says the German awards. Well, our lovely Megan is the one that's handing out these dummy awards. I guess only the dummies can hand them out, though, my understanding. If we want something on a better, a little higher accolades, we got to find somebody that has a little more intelligence. The intellectual exchange there, or intellect, is lacking in some of these people, and that's why they give out dummy awards. They think it's a real thing. Scampy says, I saw a lady that was selling a ledger from the 1800s with your last name. They were from Oklahoma. My name was it actually has been spelled a little different from when it came from overseas, and I believe it was a German name, but my ancestors came from Sweden and settled into Pennsylvania, and all the people with my last name, which is Bonebreak, by the way, they're all probably related. I do have a list of the very first people with the name that came to this country, and I'll have to look it up. I think I have it in my safe. And I'll make a copy of it, and I'll put it on my computer sometime in the next month or so. And that way you can see how some of the relatives or where they come from. It is a handwritten list, and it come from a couple of generations before mine, the list that was made up. But the early settlers, and most of them were farmers, but with that name, all came from the same place. Let's see. Rich says, I really enjoy that show, The Fraud Brats. The Megan Fox and Rosalind Duke. Yeah. I tell you, the first time I happened to notice that this Rosalind Duke, or whoever she is, I'm amazed that she's got the notoriety she has. But she seems to be able to have the backing of some of the channels with the toxic subjects. Some people, their personalities, they're just negative. They can't think of good things. They very seldom talk about stuff like that. A little bit. I see you're on there. Morning to you too. This chat, by the way, is for all of you out there too that want to jump in there. Not necessarily up here where everybody can see it, but over here where in the chat itself. I'm trying to keep an eye on it this morning so that I can answer you back. Oh, no, Scampy says that was the last name. She said she had other things with that name. The first spelling of that was Beinbreak for that name. And it was most of them spelled it the way I do before they left Pennsylvania. Very here in this state, there's I don't know, maybe 20 or 30. There's at least one more with my name, other doesn't say Junior. Bearded says, "Hi Ray, I did a couple of videos of you, man. It came out perfect. I'll go back and look at them, Bearded, and see what I can find." Steffi says, "I like that Richard. I call them lame blamers." Yeah. Yeah. Ren says, "Good morning." Well, good morning to you too. Televangelist Hunt. That's from Bearded. Oh, let's see what else we got here. It says, "It's me, Ray. It keeps freezing up. G Sky." My channel, I don't know why. I don't know if it's my computer or what. I can be talking away and all of a sudden it'll freeze for a second and then come back and go on. And it's been doing that. Even when I just use the blog site where I put something up and go over it a little bit and then transmit it out over here. Matter of fact, it's worse on when I just use the camera and put it on later. If you guys want to, I can start doing something like this in the mornings. We can have our little cup of coffee and discuss things. It's not a big deal. You can discuss most anything you want, as long as we don't get too out of hand. I don't want it to be just a bitch session. I might draw too many people of the wrong makeup, but at least most of them that have come on here to date have been pretty good. Although you got beat out by looks like What the Hales, and that's a first for me. I didn't know we were going to get blessed with that. No, I agree with you. That morning chat. Yeah, I hope all of you have either had your cup or about to have it. Mine will kick you up pretty quick. I add that Lottie stuff in there along with strong coffee, and it kicks my eyes almost wide open. I can forget using the toothpicks up there to keep them out. I've been up a couple hours because my pup gets me up. He has to eat and go out and water the grass and fertilize the lawn. So, Scampy says, "I screenshot it, Ray. Thank you. Thank you. Already had my cup of coffee." By the way, somebody had told me that, and I didn't see it, but one of the channels apparently has threatened one of my children. I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess maybe somebody will let me know. Like I say, I didn't see it, but apparently somebody out there has threatened or tried to blackmail or something that they're going to go after my one of my daughters. So I don't know why. I haven't went after anybody's family. At least I'm not aware of having done it. And the only one I've ever listened to on here that would be family of somebody was I've listened to Jason out there. But other than that, I've kept it. I try to keep it as clean as I can. I have no interest in running somebody's background down as far as their family itself and putting it on here. And the doxing part, I've been doxed multiple times, even with a map on there so that people won't have a problem finding my place. And I've been harassed apparently for my feelings about people that have stopped out here and watched when my wife was mowing the grass or set and parked. It is a dead end. It's a private street, and there's only four of us or four homes here that lives on this one. So when people stand out, if they just come over and park and watch you, it's it's the way it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people out there that hate me so bad say, "Well, that's just normal." And I can tell you, after over 20 years of living here, it is not normal for somebody to come into a dead end street and sit and watch you. And it's only happened in the last few months since my address was put out there in my Christian name. Oh, you asked me what kind of puppy I've got. It is a Sheltie. Our last four pups have been Shelties and pretty well trained. And I don't know. Yeah, he's back. Let me show you. I think I can get this up. There you go. What about it, Sparky? Sparky. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, I want to put you on there. You see? You're on there? Good puppy. Yeah. I know you like it, didn't you? When we got him when he was a pup, he looked like a little bear cub. And he still sometimes, when he's all curled up, looks like a little bear cub. Oh, let's see. Nikki says, "We love you, Ray." Well, I love all of you back too. I'm happy you're on here this morning. I wasn't too sure how many would show up. And like I said, I didn't advertise it, but we can make it kind of a regular thing, or try to, for on our wake up calls in the morning. Some of you can come on here maybe before you go to work, or some of you that don't work or retired, you'll be able to come on and express some of your views. Oh, let's see. G says, "I enjoy your lives. I hope you got to the store and are ready with your snow removal stuff." I plan on going into it. We have the next town has kind of a smaller store that should be pretty easy for me to go in and get a few things. I don't need a lot of things, just a few fresh stuff to get through. My snowblower, it's ready to go, and hopefully I won't have to use it till tomorrow. And they said the wind's going to kick up tomorrow, so if it does, I won't have to use it anyway. I'll just have to wait until the wind dies down. Oh, let's see. Kimberly says, "I was defending you on the brown dog yesterday." Goodness sake. I don't know what the brown dog is. It's one that I missed somewhere. I've got many places out here where I keep showing up. A lot of small channels are really picking up the toxicity. I have no idea why. I think when I took a couple of months of hiatus and kicked back for a while, I missed some of those channels that were coming up to, or brave enough to come out there and spew some of that stuff. Phil says, "Oh, he's pretty. He's a neat pup." I had to take him in for his physical the day before yesterday. And he's going on 8 years old right now. And he's just starting to get a little bit of cataract on one of his eyes. For the last year or so, it's watered quite a bit. So almost all of our pups at one time or another, that's happened to. Oh, let's see. G says, "I don't watch other channels, only you and Lisa." Well, thank you, G. I think sometimes the further we can stay away from stuff like that's on these channels, the better off we are. I know that if you listen to them enough, sometimes you pick up on some of them cute names and you start utilizing them, and it's just wrong. And that's only my opinion about it, that it's wrong to do. I've always felt that we should use the Christian name as the people wish. If somebody wants to be called by a different name, we certainly can do it. I use a nickname on here for my handle, but all of you know my name by now and where I live, so it's not a big deal out there. I am a little worried about the threat of going after my daughter. And like I say, I didn't see it, so I was only told about it. And I can't think of any reason why somebody wants to go after your children. I guess it's to give me something more to worry about as if I don't have enough stress as it is in my life. And a lot of it's going away. My neighbors certainly have helped dissipate it. Ren says, we got snow here. They're saying we're going to get more. Wow. It's a pretty good sized storm coming our way. So, Shell Bell, glad to see you on here. You're quite a backer. My wife really appreciated the gift that you and Rob give her, Robbie. It'll always be held in a high esteem. And my daughter did, or my wife did give it to my daughter if something happened to her. I don't know if my wife kind of anticipated what was coming up. But anyway, my daughter is in possession of it now. I am not ready for the cold out in the country. This is Steffi. The winds can be brutal. The other day when we had the wind come in, when this cold front come through, it sounded like a freight train out here. I've got huge trees around on the north side of me. And it does, the wind coming through there, it bends them over pretty good. And boy, it makes a lot of sound, especially since there's still a few dry leaves up there. Already alerts for ice here, Ren is saying. Yeah, I hate the ice worse than I do the snow itself. Sequoia says, happy Thanksgiving, Ray. Send you so much love. Well, thank you, Sequoia. G says, we got snow here, not much, but we got the wind. Yeah. Dan Foyle, damn shame people have nothing better to do than blindly follow a germ and do his bidding. It's unfortunate. There are people that survive on things like that. A little bit says they're sick people for sure. Yeah, I've never met any of these people. I have no idea what they're really about. I know that it makes it easier for people to be that way because of this thing. They hide behind the screen and the keyboard itself. Oh, I'm so glad she enjoyed it, Shell Bell. That was her birthstone, by the way, Namaset. And it's a healing stone. My wife loved certain crystals and stones. And over the years, she's always had a rock garden of some kind. And I wish that the place we've owned before here, we left it intact. We had part of a rock garden in front of our house and one in the back. And so we had very big stones. Most of them were geodes of some kind. And they give kind of a background to the things that she planted. And there's been many a time I wish we'd have dismantled it and brought it here. Bonnie says, I have to go. Have a great day, Ray, and everyone stay safe. Thank you for stopping in, Bonnie, and I'm glad you stopped. Uncle Mike, good morning, Ray. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I did. A lot of food, good food, and good neighbors, and their children were here. And by the way, during while we were celebrating at my neighbor's, my daughter got on FaceTime back and forth with my neighbors. She's a good friend of Tina. And so they were able to talk and go back and forth and wish each other holidays. And I got to see my great grandkids, and my daughter and son-in-law. And it was a big get together yesterday. Not all of us in the same house, but enough of us. Both homes were full. The home I went to that I was invited to a dinner yesterday, and my daughter, her house was completely full. So it was a good time, and it brought my spirits up considerably, and I still hold that. I'm very happy with it. Steffi says, I stopped watching toxic waste channels, sticking with the more positive. Thank you. It's a good move to do, Steffi. Let's see. Lucinda Says, I'm sorry you're dealing with this asshole, Ray. There's nothing I can do about it. He is what he is. We can't remake him. It's too late, I think. Johnny Cash, good morning, Ray. Good morning, John. By the way, your handle that you're using, Johnny Cash is one of the first ones I used to listen to back years ago when I was young. I loved all of his songs back then. This was before rock and roll, by the way. Oh, Uncle Mike. Good morning. Let's see. Tanya says, good morning. I was so happy you got to spend time with family and friends. Well, thank you, Tanya. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well. And we're around people that you love. It was one of my happiest times this year, being able to enjoy a lot of people. I've been almost a hermit for a few months here, and I'm trying to come out of that shell. Ren says, it sounds amazing, Ray. What else we got here? FaceTime is a wonderful. I get to see my grandsons and daughter. It is great. You know, it's only been that I have used it for the last few months. I'm just an old timer. And even though my phones have had the capability, I hadn't used it. And when I worked years ago, I've been retired over 16 years now. We used a in-house way of talking to each other within the company itself. And I had used that a lot, but I never used the cell phone, like on a FaceTime or whatever, to talk to somebody until just recently. And I wish I'd have learned it a lot earlier. But when you get up to a certain age and you retire, my idea of retirement was to put my phone on the counter and put my billfold on a shelf and not worry about the rest of the world. Just relax and take it easy. And essentially, that's what my wife and I did. Even though we traveled, we still tried to do it for our pleasure or our children or something of that nature. Dusty says, good morning, all. And good morning to you too, Dusty. Ren says, like green jello for the little one today. What else we got here? Steffi says it can be very healing thing for our hearts, Mr. Ray. My mom is 84 and not in good health. I try to go over and above for family get-togethers for her. She loves them so much. Yeah, the older that we get, the more things mean to us. I'm 81, by the way, but when I look at myself, I realize that I'm 81. But when I'm just standing up looking around, my mind don't feel that way. I still feel like I'm a lot younger mentally until I look at myself in the mirror and I realize that wrinkled old guy in there's me. Shellbell, answered prayers that you had good friends with you on Thanksgiving. Ray, you are so much like my dad. Love that you're getting out more. I'm going to try to get out a little more. What I've been doing, I've taken little things, whether it be cleaning up this room or another room or a dresser, whatever, trying to bring things around. The duties, washing clothes or whatever, taking care of the pup, a little bit of brushing here and there, the kitten as well. And I'm trying to fill that spot of the things that my wife used to do that I have to do. I don't have a choice. So little by little, I'm learning. And I even have looked at some of the things that she cooked up. I plan on trying to copy some of the meals that she had. So Georgia Ruckman, good morning, Ray, in chat. Thank you, Georgia. Good morning to you too. Dan says they're going after your daughter. That's about as unhinged as you can get. The minions are crazy. I don't know why they're doing it, and I didn't see it. Somebody else told me about it. A lot of times I don't pick up on some of that stuff. There's so much of it right now that's headed my way that there's not enough hours in the day for me to look at it. And the other thing is uh, the sadness that it brings, not just for myself, but realizing that people that do that, what kind of a life do they have if all they see is the bad things in life? And they try to make me in their own image for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't done that to them. I don't email them. Uh, I was given this dummy award yesterday when I woke up and went into my email. I don't understand it myself. People chase you no matter what and try to grind you. It's nothing new, I don't think. It's just that certain people are that way. And we have a lot of them around us right now. G says, my daughter walked me through using FaceTime. I tell you something, it's a great deal. I never ran my battery down on my phone until I started using that. Now I have to carry my charger into the other room if I use it, because when we get on there for an hour at least. We just have a good time with it. And, I am happy I was shown how to use it. It took a while. Oh, you know what else you give me? One of them sticks you put the phone on, and it's got a little stand. So, like the other day, we were talking, and it was supper time for the pets, and it's hard just to carry that phone around and do something one-handed. So I put it in that, and I put it on the counter, and it kind of follows you around, and it worked great. So I'm learning new things. My daughter is trying to bring me into the this century. Tanya says it took a while to get out there. I got involved with more church sewing group and other things. This channel is a wonderful outlet for you to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward. That was Tanya to come up with that. Dusty says, my mind, I'm still 20. My body says, yeah, right. You disillusioned old man. I'm with you there, Dusty. The hard part about growing old or older, let's put it that way, is the world gets faster as you get slower. I'm not sure which one is getting slower first, or if the world is getting faster before I'm getting slower, but it's happening. My mind is still there. Shellbell says, with mom being in the nursing home, dad had to learn some things. We are lucky enough that I am close enough to help. I've been handling their financial and medical for a while. When people get up there in age, whether they want it or not, there's a certain amount of help that has to come through. I was lucky when I was young that, we actually lived in my grandmother's house. And the family lived together. Some of them were born in that house, and some of them passed away in that house. The house had a lot of memories, and back a long time ago, that was kind of the way things were. Family stayed together the entirety of their time here on Earth, from the birth until death, and that don't happen very seldom anymore. Lucinda said they are so jealous of you and want to be like you, Ray. I'm not sure if they would be. Not too many want to step into my shoes. One thing is they mention my age a lot, and my ability to think, and they don't like the way I think, by the way. So unfortunate, they just they don't take time to listen anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Don't even open their mail, just throw it in the trash without reading it. Well, Steffi, what it is the title itself depicts what's inside, but you're right. I'm better off to just block it, one of the two. Georgia says, good morning, John Caps. So, okay. John Caps. I'm sorry, Dan Foyle, thought you were talking to me. Uh-oh. That was, geez, guy. All smiles. Shell Bell says, just ignore the hate, live well, and try to be happy. Too much drama and disorder. I think that's probably one of the best advice somebody can give out there. And there isn't time for me to look at some of those other channels. Honestly, there's so many of them out there right now on attack, making all these threats and stuff that there just isn't enough hours in the day to keep up with it. So the little snippets I get from time to time are mostly somebody's come in and said something. But like you said, if I'm not watching their channel, they're going to email me. So I just have to strike that too. Steffi says, I'm the POA to my mom and dad, and it has been fun though watching dad learn to sweep and mop. Well, I went out and I bought a newer vacuum cleaner, one that was a little lighter than the old one. And we've got one that this is a split foyer home. So there's a vacuum cleaner downstairs and one upstairs, but there's a foyer that still has to be vacuumed. And I got this, it's called the Red Devil, and it's about half the weight of the other ones, and it works just fine. And it has that type of roll that doesn't wind up pet hair. It's more of a vinyl type roll without the little teeth in it. It's got like a roller spiral in it, and it works pretty good. Yes, Ray, this world just keeps getting faster, and I don't understand. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it sometimes. I never realized the difference that could come. You know, when you're younger, you don't think that day will come. And when you finally get here, there's a lot of things you can't do. But if you're wise enough, you realize there's things that you can do now that you have the time to do them. That's how I looked at it. So my cup is always full of things or duties or responsibilities out there. And I'm lucky enough that my cup runs over, and there's no excuse for me to just sit and not do anything. I'm just starting to move around again a little bit. I've had enough weight loss that I can move better. I can go up and down stairs better than I could. The bad knee that I've got doesn't hurt anywhere near as much as it did. But I've lost somewhere around 20% of my weight. And it was a good thing, not a bad thing. And right now I'm maintaining that lower weight. And I haven't been this light since I was 40 years old. I spent half my life on the chunky side. And even though I worked my butt off when I was young, I love to eat. And that if there's a downfall, that's my biggest downfall, is I love food, rich food. Tammy says, good morning, Mr. Earl. Good morning to you too. That's Tammy B. We've got Tanya Couchman on here, Phyllis, Tammy B, Steffi, Helen. I missed the notification. I didn't put a notification out there, Helen. I just went on and went live. It was just a spur of the moment thing. I've got my coffee out here. Hi there, Sassy. I see you there. Oh, Nan Bedella. I didn't see you come on there either. I missed you somewhere, but I'm glad you're here. Oh, Phil says, I dislike vacuuming. I don't treasure vacuuming, I could tell you. But unfortunately, Shelties, they have 2 layers of fur on them. And the one underneath is almost like sheep's wool. So they call it blowing the coat. You'll see the white fur start coming out, and you'll have gobs of fur different places, not just hair, fur. So if you don't brush them about every week, or at the very least every other week, you have a lot of fur balls hanging around. And the vacuum, it's much quicker and easier than it is for me to go around and try to sweep them. Because if I sweep them, they just kind of run across the floor like dust bunnies. uh, yeah. G says her husband does all the vacuuming for me. It kills my back with the pushing and pulling, and he does an excellent job. I agree with you about pushing and pulling. You don't realize what happens when that brush is trying to pull it forward and you're pulling it backwards. And it is hard on the back. Some of these newer ones, they call them a stick vacuum. And half my floors are hardwood floors. And on those, a stick vacuum can work very well because it doesn't have any weight to it. And if you get one that swivels, you can go out there. It just takes you a few minutes to kind of go over the floor and go on with life. My daughter, I think she's going to buy me one of those. They call them robots or whatever they are. That kind of a little disc goes around, and I might start using that. I have a open concept between a dining room and living room out here. One of these days I'll transmit from out there, and then I can swivel it around and show you. And then it joins in with the hallway, so it could go out there and do that, and I can walk away and be out there with a pet or something out in the yard, and while it's going on. Helen says she's glad she's here. I'm glad you're here too. But if you're talking about here in the world, yeah, it is a good thing to be out here in the world. Nikki says she doesn't watch the hate channels. It's a matter of not having time anymore. They've pretty much outdid themselves. There's so many of them competing for time out there, and a lot of them are overlapping now, I noticed. So to keep up with them would be kind of tough anyway. The hard part is if you watch things that pull you down all day, even though it may not be you specifically that's on there, your mind kind of gets into that concept as well. And you start looking at people with, I wouldn't say an evil eye, but it's like if you're on a police force long enough, everybody you're looking at is a lawbreaker. And you can get that kind of a mode in you, the mental mode. Oh, let's see. Tanya says, I couldn't agree more. If peeps wouldn't watch it, it would slow the hate down. With these, the people that hate and that get on these channels and get into the chats and add their little bites in, they're going to go wherever they can find that, whether they're on watching some of the things that we do or other things. It's a mode that they're in, and their whole lifestyle is into that, and life really does suck for them. It's unfortunate. Other people that look for good things have a happy life. You can tell what your base is by your general health, how you feel about your friends and your neighbors, and have you had friends forever? Now, the neighbor dispute was hard for me to quite understand. I've lived here over 22 years. All my neighbors are friends, every one of them. I guess we've learned how to not have disputes, and we all have our faults, no matter who it is. We kind of understand them. It might be being careful when you have a bonfire so that the smoke don't go in the wrong direction. Little things out of respect. The day my wife and I moved in, a neighbor just up on the drive across from here came down and talked to us. And then another neighbor come over, and then another neighbor. It seemed like the welcoming committee was almost immediate. And the same people are still doing that. It's always been there since we've been here. Let's see. Yesterday, I lost 75 pounds and put down way too low. I'm finally up at an ideal weight. That's a downside, but it gets better with time. Telling you, I spent half my life by the charts, BMI charts. I was obese, but I was working, and I used to climb pretty high in the high-rise structures that I worked on. Um, it, when I was young, I could handle the weight. As I got older, it was very tough. And the only reason I lost this weight, and it's probably the last gift my wife give me, that I wasn't eating right and neglected things, and that's why the weight come off. And although she's been gone a few months, my weight leveled off and is staying at a weight that I can handle, and I feel healthier. I'm able to get around better. I get up and down the steps better. So a lot of bad things happen, and sometimes you have to look at some of the good things that are out there that may have come in at that time to lessen the blow. Scampy says, "Well, I gotta get ready to meet my son in Ann Arbor for shopping." Well, Scampy, have a good day shopping out there. Christmas is coming up. A lot of deals out there, and today is Black Friday, so good luck today. What's for breakfast? Tanya said. I don't know. I was thinking about English muffin with peanut butter and jelly. I wasn't going to get anything real big. I ate so much yesterday. Uh, yeah, Ren says sausage and eggs and toast. And that sounds great. I love eggs. Sometimes I fry up potatoes. I've got those yellow potatoes. They cook up quick. Like all I do is wash them off good, dice them, and throw them in, skins and all. And the sausage. I've got some in there. They're Johnsonville sausages, and they've got the maple, infused in there, and they're pretty good when you cook them up. I like those about as good as any. I have other ones in there that are patties, and they're Italian sausage, and they have a little heat in them. I like those as well. So it's kind of the mood I'm in. Shell says, I do watch occasionally. I'm an upbeat type person, but I also want the stuff from the horse's mouth. I engage occasionally. I've always tried to see both sides of an issue. Sometimes when you can see both sides, you can see uh, the meat of the subject, I guess is the only thing I can say. There are people that had followed Jeremy that actually came on and prayed for me at different times. And I did recognize some of the names. It wasn't too long ago, he kind of threw a thing out there. You're either for him or against him. And he made it very plain on these people. A few of them still came over and wished me well. And I hope they didn't pay the price for it by doing that. I don't feel that way on most of them. And I do my best not to go after them. I did mention somebody on there that decided that they were going to come down here and check to see if my RV was out there. And, it's another form of stalking. And I called it out just as it was, that it was stalking my property. And my understanding is that a couple of channels made fun of the fact that I felt it was stalking. In their mind, it wasn't. And I don't know how they'd feel if I'd have told somebody, said, well, it's all right. Why don't you go check and see if their car's in the driveway? They would have had a fit saying that I was trying to send people to their property or their house or wherever they live. One in particular would have just had a fit, probably pulled her hair out. But it shows you the difference in thinking. Fresh eggs for you. You got chickens, Ren. Man, I love the dark yellow yolks from chickens that have free range. They have a more taste to them. When I was young, everybody's chickens around where I lived were free range, including my neighbor. We on two sides of our house, they had chickens, and one of them had a few cattle, and the other one had hogs, believe it or not. and they would. You can imagine that sometimes a year you'd get a pretty good odor, but you don't notice it that much. And the chickens would wake you up in the morning. Believe me. Oh, let's see what else we got. Gravy biscuits. Oh, that's good. I love uh, sausage gravy over biscuits. I can eat that every morning. Oh, for instance, yes, I've got a lot of chickens. One thing about it, with chickens, if you raise them, you'll have something year round. Uh, you always have the meat and you always have the eggs. Uh, Dusty says, I'm off to get some things done. Take care, all. Enjoy the day. Tanya says, I lost weight from the lost my husband in March of 24. Suddenly, so it took a toll on me. Yep. I know what you're talking about. I lost over 40 pounds. And during the middle of that, I had to take my annual physical. And it threw the blood tests were way off. Right now, I'm taking vitamin D and also iron. I didn't realize it. That for the first time in my life, I'm anemic. And you wouldn't think it as big as I've always been. But if you don't eat, there's a lot of things your body goes through. One thing about it, I'll tell you, I lost weight quicker than I could buy clothes. I bought jeans. And by the time I got them, I bought them off Amazon, by the way. By the time I got them, I'd already lost enough weight again that those jeans fall off. I don't have enough butt to hold them up anymore. So I've got to get another size smaller yet. And I think I'm stable enough that I can go ahead and buy another wardrobe. Tanya, the only thing I can say is hopefully things have leveled out for you and that you're feeling better. I know that with a sudden weight loss, it takes your energy away as well. Because mine, I just didn't feel like doing anything. Absolutely. And it was hard to get out of bed in the morning sometimes. Right now, I do have more energy. It might be from something like this. I don't know. It tastes good. I kind of got away from it for a while. But I'm back. I don't think it's a bad habit having a cup of coffee in the morning. And that's what I'm going to try to do on here on days that I feel decent. I'm going to come on live and we'll talk about things. Red says, I have very spoiled chickens. When a long time ago when I was really young, I went we had a feed store uptown that had chickens. And around Easter time, they have a big hatch of them. And so I bought one for each of my brothers, and I had one. And they become our pets. And I didn't have a place to put them or anything like that. So they come in a cardboard box. Well, eventually my dad made a cage for them, and he would let them out, and they'd walk around the yard. They were pretty good about if we were out there, they would kind of hang tight to our place. And I had one that was black, and the other two were white. And the black one, for some reason, like my dad, he would come out, and that hen would come over by him, and if he sat down, she'd just sit there and cluck away at him, and for a long time. And she lived. It was over a year, and we had several eggs on a regular basis from them. They were pets. As far as I know, I don't think we ate any of them. We thought too much of them, and that happens with domestic animals. Once we make pets, it's pretty hard to think of them in any other way. Pepper or sausage gravy. I prefer pepper. That's Terry. Yeah, Terry. I like the black pepper, heavy black pepper in my gravy, and I like the gravy to be a milk gravy. So it's more of a lighter color, but man, is it good and rich. Sequoia says free-range eggs are so good. The yolk is so deep in color. The natural profile is much healthier. You're right. Everything you fix with those eggs, including cookies, will be a little darker because of that yolk, and a much better taste. And even your cakes when you put them in there. Sequoia says, "Oh yes, eggs are so good. The yolk is so deep." Yep. Hard to beat fresh eggs, homemade biscuits, and sausage pan gravy. You're right, Shellbell. Warm weather, we get over 24 eggs. Yep. Well, if they're happy, they'll give you plenty. And the way to keep them happy is to keep them comfortable. This bird flu, you're right. It's hard when you have to go out there and you have to kill your entire flock. And the other thing is you can't start raising chickens right away. It takes a while to sterilize the area that they were living in. Sequoia says, how could you not spoil their chickens? They help keep you healthy and alive. That's true. Tanya says, yes, Ray, much better. Got involved with several things, sewing groups, church, and other things. Keep moving forward. That's all that matters. It is. Church can help a lot. And, I always believed in the smaller churches, they become closer knit. But I was raised around smaller churches where your congregation was rarely above 40 or 50 people in there on any one Sunday. But the people that came were very dedicated. It's hard to keep a small church up and running because of today the bills of as far as utilities, and trying to keep a minister there that is dedicated to the flock when there's no real money coming in. They have to work a full-time jobs besides being the head of the church. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, Terry says, this is Terry Silverstone. It's probably not so much the warm weather, but the extended hours of light that come with it. I know people that put lights in the coop wintertime to get more eggs. We used to have a light in the coop to keep it warmer, is one of the big reasons we put it in there. I don't know if it's good or bad having the light back there. Usually you have it on all day and night back there to keep a coop warm in the worst part of the weather. Sequoia says, I need chocolate gravy. I've seen chocolate gravy advertised. I've never tried it. And I know it's an Appalachian type of way of fixing it. You see it quite a bit out there. I've just never had it. One of my grandmothers was raised in the Appalachian area. She was in Newman. And she was from the west side of the mountains. Let's see. Ren says, I have one mean rooster. He's about to be dinner. Roosters have a tendency to get a little ornery. They're territorial. Let's see. Ren says, watching chickens eat head lettuce is fun. I don't know if I've ever watched them eat head lettuce. I've watched them eat different things out of the garden that we've thrown out there. Years ago, on the farm my dad was raised on, his sister bought a part of it on a corner of it. And her husband, first thing he did was go out and buy one of those old Johnny Poppers. And he had a big portion of that small acreage all fixed up for a garden, more than you could possibly eat or care for. And he planted rows of tomato plants. And, everything that he put in there was rows of it. And it was so much he couldn't keep the weeds up. So he had a bunch of chickens and he turned them loose in the garden. He gave my dad a portion of the garden to maintain, to take care of. And it got to the point, the chickens pretty much decimated that garden. My dad went out there to take some of the fruits of his labor, and it no longer existed. I think my dad had threatened my uncle out there about taking some of them chickens to replace the garden. He was pretty upset with him. I think that was the last time my dad put a garden out there on the original farm. But my dad he'd been on that farm since he was born. Uh, Years ago, I mean, his dad sold it and bought a dealership. He had a dealership, Chevy dealership in the area. Oh, Shell Bell says sending a steer to the locker plant Monday and picking up our deer. Freezers will be full. Oh man, yeah, I'm with you, Shell Bell. Let's see. Tanya said I raised my own chickens and owned meat for years. Now I get my organic free-range eggs and raw cream from my neighbors. Still good with grass-fed beef and lamb. You know, I was raised on stuff directly from the farm or wild game, and it was always good. We rarely had steak unless it was round steak, though. You know, as far as some of the best pieces of meat. But the wild game, we loved it. Rabbits and pheasants and squirrels. We ate a lot of squirrels too. Let's see. Yeah, it's best if you can have raw and fresh items. I agree, Tanya. Ren says they are little sharks eating head lettuce. Chickens, they're fast on the trigger. When you move them into a fresh area, they go wild over getting things. I mean, it's immediate. The good thing about free-range chickens too is the fact that you have a lot less ticks out there to worry about. If I had a regular acreage, you know, I've only got a half acre here where I'm at, I would probably have a few things. Chickens probably would be one of them, and I'd have them in chicken tractors so I could move them around, and they wouldn't necessarily be free range for the whole yard, but wherever I would move them, and they would have the same benefit. And the benefit I would get back would be they would naturally fertilize the lawn and supplement their feed as well. But let's see. Jenny said, "Oh, how are you doing, Jenny? Good morning, Ray. So glad to see you. My prayers are and love are with you. We got a duck for my granddaughter many years ago. Loved hubby's shoulder, but grew big and pretty funny." That's a funny thing. You know, ducks will follow you from the time they're little all over. They attach to you very quickly, and geese will do the same thing. Oh. Wes, Mean Rooster had tried to flog us all. You got to watch out for the spurs. They draw blood. Yeah, from our door of the house, we could see my grandfather's farm. My mother was raised just in town, but my grandmother lived on the farm, was born and raised out there. It was a little over a quarter of a mile from our house, but you could see it from our yard out there. We could walk out to it. And the city limit sign was, the bridge was like 75 to 100 yards from our house. And that was where the city limits started. It was right there at the bridge. There was a creek that ran by that we all fished in. It was well known for being a bass stream. It was very clear, a lot of springs feeding it. The area itself had springs. My mother's grandfather's farm and mother's farm when she was young, or not my mother, but my grandmother and great grandfather, had a stream that ran through it that was it was pure spring. And it was good for water. Now they had a pump, obviously, But nobody back in those days had inside plumbing of any kind. You were off grid like everybody else. And I lived pretty much off grid in the house we had there in town. We didn't. We had electricity, but that was it. We heated with a potbelly stove. And when I was very young, the ice box actually held ice. It was not. You didn't plug it in, and we had no plugins in the wall. We had fixtures in the ceiling, and a little thing you screwed in, and you could plug into it, and then a bulb below that. That was our power. And our telephone was a 10-party line. And we only had 4 numbers. Shell says we butcher about the same time every year. Part of the kids' Christmas is meat from the freezer. They love it. I'll bet they do. I know that during the holidays, people had root cellars and stuff like that. They shared a lot of the things they'd save from the fall and spread it out. When I was real young, our root cellar was to the backyard back there, and you would go down the steps and almost to the house. It was very close. It didn't last long. As time went on, we were in that transition period where people changed their lifestyle, and indoor plumbing and toilets and things like that, and real stoves and refrigerators rather than an ice box. Country life is the best, is what Phyllis said. I got to agree with that. Jenny said that they set it free on the pond at the park. Bigfoot covered his face, so it was pretty funny covering his face. The dog got my chickens, got in my coop. It was great till he tasted blood. Once they go after him, it's pretty hard to break him after that. I have a little one. Her name is Little Flutter. She is such a cuddle bug. Every time I go in there, she wants me to pick her up and move under her. That's Rin. Shell says, I also do a week of freezer or canned meals for each of them. Yeah. I remember when everybody canned their stuff years ago. Well, they put them in jars, mason jars. It really is a gift when somebody gives you, in the middle of winter, and you get your canned tomatoes or a meat of some kind that was canned. It's always so tender. It could be pumpkin, green beans, asparagus. There were so many things that you could have, and it always tasted good. Actually, it's almost as good as when it's fresh. So I know in the spring, the first thing you think of usually is asparagus, or I don't know how many of you went out and picked up dandelion greens. When I was young, they didn't put poison and stuff on the yards. So the dandelion greens were good. If you get them before you have any dandelions on them, they're not bitter. They make a good salad. So we used to use them in wilted salad. And for you from back in the 40s and 50s, you're well aware of the wilted salad, where you use the bacon grease and crumbled up bacon and a little baking powder and sugar and mix it all together good, and you just sprinkle it over, kind of warm and it shrivels a little bit. We didn't have a pump at the sink. Our pump was set between 3 homes when I was a kid. My aunts lived across the alley when I was really young, and then my grandmother was on the other side. When her and her sisters moved to town, I think they built on the first lots that were available, and that's where they built their homes. Michelle Bell says, I hated the outhouse. Was so glad when we got indoor bathroom. Our house had 3 rooms in it. 2 of them were bedrooms, one very small. The biggest room was my parents. So when they and the city made us put a bathroom in there, by the way. As soon as the water and sewer went by, they immediately put a condemnation sign up there and gave us 30 days to hook to that sewer. And my dad went out and hand dug it and got a plumber to do the connections. Because our house was so small, the toilet went in the corner of my parents' bedroom. Embarrassing to say the least to go in there at night. Now, my brothers and I, of course, we peed in the middle of the toilet and it made a lot of noise and it would wake him up. His solution to it was he said, pee on the side. We did that. And you talk about a war. My mother was extremely upset because not only did we miss the pot, we must have took sure aim at the corner of the house. We still ended up with a chamber pot. And you'd have to empty it out in the morning into the toilet. We'd had a chamber pot all our life, so it wasn't a big deal. But you can imagine some of the things that we went through. A lot of stories behind all that. Oh, let's see. Sorry, cooking and typing at the same time. That's Ren. Helen said jellies. Oh, man. Homemade jellies. We had crab apples, and they make great jelly. One of my aunts across the island from us, she had a whole line clear across the property of grapes. In our yard, we had currants and we had rhubarb. And we also had horseradish back there. And the crabapple tree in the front. Everybody had trees. And, one of my aunts had a cherry tree and a walnut tree. Everybody utilized their yard for something. So spring, we do mushroom hunting. Yep, Bryn. I myself, I like morels. Now, I've had grassies. I don't know if you know what they are, but they're good. And they're easier to find than the morels. Love morels, Rin said, hence of the woods. Yep. Good. Nicole, come on here. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. JP says, my little 4-year-old down the street, I asked him if the roosters in his yard were his. Answer, them aren't roosters, them are morning chickens. That was a good answer. That's logical thinking. Let's see. Bearded says, hey, Ray, I was homeless for almost 10 years, man, and it sucked. At the end, I was in the ice fishing tent on the water, on the river for 14 months. Man, I'm grateful for a cardboard box these days to be home. In this day and age, and it's hard to believe that we've got so many people that are homeless. And it's kind of a shame. And I realize some of them, they are homeless because, number one, they're not going to follow certain rules that they have to follow if they want to be overnight in a warm shelter. I don't necessarily blame them for wanting their own independence. And a lot of times you have to give up something to get something. Also, there's a lot of homeless families out there. And for the families, it's devastating. A lot of them can't help it at the time. It might be a loss of a job, whatever it is. And it's hard to get your feet back on the ground. All we can do at this point is to pray for them. And there are times where we can help somebody out. We just do our best. Tanya says, Shellbell, yes, put up all for years now. I'm out of everything but the last of my bone broth. But we'll be returning to the fun stuff when I get moved. Well, if you run out of bone broth, you can buy chicken broth and beef broth at the store, fairly reasonable. And it won't have the same things as what the homemade does, but it fills in. And it does help you with gravies and stuff like that as well. We always have had some on around here. I may even have some in the cupboard. I haven't looked. I've got to get in to look and see what I do have in the freezer. And we have 2 different refrigerators here. So I've got to go through it. Uh, Ren says what we do is that we get the morels. Yeah, I love those mushrooms the best. I love them cooked in butter, sometimes a little flour, dip them in flour or something and throw it that way. But I like those the best. Let's see. Tanya says it's so nice to have good food on the shelf that you know exactly how it's taken care of and what's in it. It was always that way 50 or 60 years ago. No, maybe more than that. Oh man, I forget how old I am, but 70 plus years ago, we lived off from canned food that we canned ourselves most of the time or got off the land in some way. Oh, and Bearded says, everybody wanted me to get rid of my dogs. I said, no, I did it for that reason. No drugs, no alcohol, just the facts that I'm glad I did because I still have them in an apartment now. It was a wise decision, Bearded. Everybody needs a companion. Otherwise, you go stir crazy. And I've seen your pups on your channel, and they're quite a blessing for you. I understand it completely. And if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't give them up either. Ren says, made everyone else breakfast, and now I'm drinking my sweet tea breakfast. Jenny says, RVs are getting harder to live in. New laws making it rough. The reason some of those laws are in place, people took advantage of living in them, and a lot of it was because they didn't have a choice. But once you go on the road and you want to try to live off the land in your RV, a lot of people would pull up on the street, and then all of a sudden the street had bags of defecate materials out there, or just plain trash, and the city was having to take care of it. And then it was trouble. And I see it in different towns yet, especially where the weather is milder, whether it be Florida or California and things like that. Even the lands out there, the BML lands, when there's a lot of people that go in there and they actually trash the land pretty badly. And there's part of it is where are you going to put it? If you're out there and short of burying it, a lot of these people don't have any money. Once they get out there, they're broke. They don't have any place to go, and they're done for. And so to get rid of it, people that live in town in nice warm homes and apartments and buildings make these rules and laws so they don't have to look at it instead of trying to tackle the problem. And the problem normally is a place to be and a job and transportation. And if we could supply those things in some way, we might help a lot of these families that are traveling in an RV actually have a happy home life. I don't know the answer to it all. And as old as I am, as much as I've seen it, I really haven't spent that much time on figuring that out. I always had so much going on in my own life that I maybe selfishly wasn't looking at it. But there has to be a think tank somewhere that could solve a lot of this problem. Shell Bell says, Ren, they dehydrate and keep well. Dehydrating is a good way, especially for seasonings, but meat, even fish to a certain extent, hams and stuff that you smoke and you can hang them up to dry. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of ways to preserve food, and it makes it better, not worse. So, Bearded says, I don't like people either. I don't like people or cops. That's why I went away in the woods a quarter mile back. I only saw the cops like 2 times and let him have it, and then they left me alone. Well, Bearded, the whole world isn't against people that are homeless, but for some reason, it bothers them, and they're not used to the lifestyle. I don't know what else some some people can do. But you've transitioned into an apartment, you have your pups, and for right now, you're able to live in a warm, dry place and have food any way you want it, and you have the freedoms of travel. And there's a lot of people out there, as you know, that you went through it for over 10 years that don't have any of those things. It is a tough world out there. It says here, Elon Musk and these small affordable houses for under 8,000. Why don't they take care of the United States residents, homeless people? Well, Bearded, in real truth, the $8,000 home, it might be that that's the amount of money they have in it. I've yet to see those homes put to good use. I see the pictures of them, but that's all I see. And unless I see an addition out there where things are put up. And don't forget, the improvements on a piece of property, even on the cheap end of it, is over $30,000 by the time you put sewer and water and drainage in. I'm just telling you that the $8,000 house, you're going to spend 3 or 4 times that to improve the property. Now all of a sudden you have $40,000 or $50,000 into 2 or 3 rooms. It's just a heads up. The good things out there aren't as good as what anybody thinks. There's catches to it. The other thing is the cities want nothing to do with a small home. And believe me, most of them have a restriction of over 800 square feet. Very few will allow you to build anything under 800 square feet. The people don't want somebody living in a home next to them that is that small. When I grew up, our home was around 400 square feet, 3 rooms. And a lot of the homes in that area were that size. I don't know if they'll ever go back to something like that. Our yard was as clean as a pin. There was no junk around, nothing like that. What little ground was there was utilized for a garden and things like that. And the people that lived in those little homes right where I was at, a lot of them came from farms. They were used to a lot more ground and a lot better living. Tanya says, I grow my own herbs. I make my own teas, medicine, salves, creams, and all the things. Our health is so important, and God wants us to take care of what we gave us. Yes. Yep. I agree with you. So, Bird says, I want to get another limousine, Ray. I'm going to buy another limousine and live out of that 6 months out of the year. Actually, whether it's a limousine or maybe even a van, the limousine, you won't have the headroom, but you could live in the limousine easily. But a van, you can stand up or at least partially stand up in. I would go for the van, I think, and just insulate the heck out of it. This morning, Psalm 7, save me, deliver me, end the violence, and secure the righteous. Amen. Sequoia says, I must go. Many blessings to you, Ray. Take care. Thank you, Sequoia. I'm so happy that you stopped in this morning. Let's see. BRB, got to go. Call mom. Got to call mom. That's Ren. Bearded says, I'm actually a former homeowner. I owned 2 houses before. I did out in the Walford in Meriden, Connecticut. In today's world, the older you get, the harder it is to hold on to your home. You never fully own the house you're in. You always owe tax on it. The taxes you pay this year were last year's taxes. That's why I say you always owe taxes on it. My taxes are 4 times the amount they were when I bought this house almost 23 years ago. My income is a fixed income. It has nowhere near kept up with COLA increases. Not sure where they come up with these increases, but it does. The inflation has inundated us. The inflation's from a few years ago has finally caught up with me on this house. And my taxes in 2 years went up about 30%. A house that I've invested, what I've earned over the last 60 some years. When I look at this, and it was a kind of a dream house for my wife and I, the very fact, if I live another 10 to 15 years, I will absolutely have to sell it. I would not be able to live here because by the things that have happened in the last 22 years, the same things will take this home away from me. Doesn't matter what health I'm in, I will not own this house. It's an unfortunate circumstance to look at, but that's the way it is. The harder you work and the more you have, the quicker you start losing it when you get to the age where you have a fixed income. Now, I'm lucky. I balanced it enough so that I haven't lost my base. And during the middle of the last administration, not the one that's in there now, for the first time since I retired, I had to get into that base a little bit. It's because the inflation jumped past what I was able to earn. A lot of people told me and said, well, it didn't bother us in the least. We made it through. We've got just as much money. I hate to bust their bubble. I have as much money as I had, but my buying power is 1/3 less. If I go through 8 more years, my chances of having anything left is nil. I don't think you people understand. You can have all the money in the world, but as inflation comes in, it takes your buying power away from you, like this. You don't get it back. It's just gone. Don't let that get to you. My wife and I figured that inflation would take 2.5% a year of our money. And we based it, our money that we needed, on that. And it has always worked out. It's been a great formula. We never pulled from that base until we had to. As it is, I'm not pulling anything out right now. Everything is working fine. I don't have the buying power of the base, but I had the ability to downsize to a certain extent of what I buy for food-wise or improvements I'm going to make around here. I still live good, and I'm happy for that. The Lord has blessed us, and I'm happy. But for anybody out there that thinks that they still had what they had before this inflation, they're wrong. They just haven't looked at it enough to know that they were wrong. Let's see. Chill, Bill, but you left them alone and you helped them by leaving them alone, and that's the way it should be. What's a little water to you anyway? You know, peace from the Northeast. Our town, that was Beard that come up with that. Our town put up a homeless village. If anyone wants to see it, look at up Ann Street Village. It's in Maryland. That was JP 56. Tanya says, well, I got to get up and moving. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to keep listening, but get moving. That's Tanya. Shellbell, have a great day, Tanya. That was from Shellbell. Yeah, Vera says, what I used to make in half a week, I'm making a whole month. And it's tough, but it could be done. That was Bearded. I'm just waiting to recover from my surgery. I might have another one. Armor alcoholic, and I love to work. Man, I used to love to work. I miss it. And that's Bearded. Yeah, I can understand that. When a person's working, they get to realize the accomplishments that they've done. Milltown's best. Good morning, Ray. Well, how you doing, Super Dave? You're always refreshing to have on the channel, and I love your channel. And some of the work you've done in the last couple of weeks are outstanding, man. You did great. You give us hope. JP56, I have to drop. Have a great, peaceful weekend, all. Ray, it's good to see you online. Thank you, JP56. Phyllis wishes you good morning up there, Super Dave. Milton, Super Dave. So I just got an email that a YouTuber mocked me, a member of the public, live during an auction chant while representing the state of Ohio, as did George. Well, Dave, guess what happened to me? I woke up yesterday morning and I was awarded through my email a dummy badge. So not too many of us have gotten that yet. But I guess to people that aren't intelligent, they think the highest thing they can give you is a dummy badge. Who'd have thought that they would think their own intellectual prowess would make them give out badges that were equal to what their intelligence is? Have at it. Wendy, good morning, Ray. Well, good morning, Wendy. Shelbell says, I have to go. Hope everyone has a great day or night, whatever you are, wherever you are. Hugs, love, and prayers. Same back to you, Shelbell. I can't thank you enough. You've been there for helping out for quite a while. And there's been a lot of days where my wife and I both were able to smile because of the things that you do and say. You're a good person, and I wish you all the best. Phyllis says, they just don't have the imagination that you have, Ray. Well, according to most of them, I don't have enough up there to have an imagination anymore. I'm too senile. But I'm going to tell you, part of what I have is wisdom, and it isn't always understandable by others. I grew up at a different time. Our language was a lot different. And yeah, I don't understand what's going on in this world like I did when I was a kid, and I was much faster. And the world moves faster than I do now. I take time out and reflect and have a good time. I was lucky enough to have a wife that was with me my whole life, and a lot of people aren't that lucky, and I feel bad for them. And hope that someday you'll find that person to spend your life with. That it is a big asset. I do have friends out there. A lot of them are on my channel today and have been around for the last few years on my channel, wishing me well. I can tell the ones that are here for are here to spread goodwill rather than the misfits that come in that have a chip on their shoulder. And for you that have a chip on your shoulder, I hope the Lord can remove it from you. I hope you can see things like a lot of us do. Oh, by the way, Super Dave, some of the stuff that they send us might be really an honor for being noticed. I know they like to knock us down, but it doesn't work that way. Sounds like harassment, Ray. They went beyond leaving a comment on your video. They had to track you down and email to pursue their endeavors to hurt you. Just to give you an idea, Dave, when before I was served, the paperwork for the lawsuit, when they were able to get my email address, it went out before I had the paperwork. And the first one that was to send me an email was the same person that sent me the dummy award. I can only figure that they had a little bit of inside information that I didn't have during this lawsuit operation. And I kind of see that information out there from time to time when before it hits here, somebody else has it. I don't know if there's inside information coming from a clerk within Bolotho's office or just what's going on. I can only just contemplate it. I don't have knowledge of it. The things that went on, they've actually threatened my daughter, I guess. Somebody had warned me about it, that they want to go after my daughter. And I don't know why. I guess it's because my daughter has backed me up so hard in the last few months. The good that she has done, they're going to try to destroy her for it, only because that they hate me so bad. I hope that the Lord will heal their hearts before they do so much damage that they can't right the wrongs that they do during their lifetime. Yeah, the harassment they're talking about is beyond the normal. The person himself is extremely toxic. Uh, they actually went on and showed on a Google map where my house is from the post office. They don't just dox me; they give a map out so that people can come down. And they harassed me for figuring that people were out here watching this, and they were. This is a dead end street out here, and they were coming down watching. But I guess it's my imagination. It hadn't happened in 22 years, but now it's starting to happen. Just wait till discovery comes in the Maskin Foreman case. So many more people will be getting sucked into nonsense. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that Maskin can follow through on his case and get to the bottom of this. Two Lee says, hey, how you doing? Lisa or Gabe, whichever one of you came on my channel today. I'm assuming it's Lisa. Stacy said, hi, Uncle Ray. Hi, all in chat. I'm glad to see you guys here, by the way. I've actually got 2 mods in my channel. But to let you know, Stacy and 2 Lees and Super Dave, the first person that came on my channel this morning was What the Hales. And he welcomed me and looks forward to the federal case. Can you imagine that? I got a greeting this morning from the man himself, the great creator. Lord help him. The toxicity of just a 1 or 2 sentences kind of marks what the man is. You know, Cain was marked, and I got an idea that this man is too. Stacy says, I got a screenshot, or no, that's 2 Leads. She got a screenshot. Great. Oh, that's how I knew you were live. Oh. President Compassion said, I handled mine offline. They ran like chickens. Let's see what we got. Sounds like more harassment. Save that, Ray. I didn't see it. I don't have the screenshot. I only know about it. The part about I'm going after my daughter, I don't have that either. And I don't know what she'll say or do about it. I was in contact with some law enforcement in my area. And they have given me some instructions of what to do with it. It has to do with starting another federal case, but start it here in Iowa. I am contemplating it, but my biggest goal is trying to settle the things in Florida. And so we'll just see how things go. Tu Lee says that's harassment. And if you ask me, he heard what Megan did to you and came to join in the harassment. You're probably right. I would say either that, he might be conductor of the band. These people, they all have kind of the same mind. It's not normal. Anybody out there that thinks it's normal maybe needs to go back and have a talk with our Lord. That's all. The only thing I can tell you. I certainly can't tell you how to get out of that mode. I have no idea why you got so far off track that you hate everything out there except for what is within the circle that your feet fit in. Oh, Stubby says, good morning to you, Paulette. I didn't see, oh, there's Paulette. Hello, everyone. Been here pretty much from the start today, just sitting in my corner listening. Well, I'm glad you were there, Paulette. Well, I'm glad you're on my channel. You don't have to sit in the corner, though. You're welcome to come on and make comments. I haven't stopped the comments today from anybody. The only thing I put on there is that you have to be a member for a certain amount of minutes. and it may have kept some of the haters out. A lot of people don't want to give me credit for people that are there as members and then have to pull out afterwards. It shows how that it fluctuates when you're on live and not on live and they leave. Bonita, hi everyone. Well, hi Bonita. The thread about my daughter, I think, is like blackmail. One of the reasons, my understanding is because I back Rich Luthman up and Mike Volpe. And that should give you an idea who is after me tooth and nail right now and making the threats. They think it's okay for me to be stalked by a guy named Clark Stark. I didn't ask this guy to come down here to see if my RV is in place. And they're getting that because I'm making plans for next year. And I plan on following through, the good Lord willing, that I'm still here. And yes, I have somebody that's going to help me with the driving. And we're planning on making it you might say a family gathering at one time or another during this travels. So as they progress, I'll try to let some of you know, and maybe we can do a meetup somewhere down in Florida, because I do plan on being down there. And matter of fact, Tulee's husband, Gabe, has graciously said that he was going to set things up for me down there and show me around, and that I was going to get to ride in their Luftmobile. So I've got some things that are being planned out for me, and I'm certainly going to take them up on any offers they give me. Tulee said, did you block him? Actually, at this point, no. A lot of these people, if they want to come in and start tearing me up, all they're doing is giving fodder to the things that are going to have to be presented to the court, so I can show the patterns that are out there from these people that come on my channel. I don't bother them on their channel. And I do come up here with some comedy from time to time. I don't do AI stuff. I haven't made people into transvestites or devils or any of that stuff. I haven't done any of it. I haven't made any songs up about them. I don't do that. There's a lot of things I don't do. And a lot of it is because the Lord won't necessarily let me do those things and let me keep the promise of going through the pearly gates or the golden gates. I'm getting too close to that end. I've got to guard it a little bit. Let's see. Dave says, I still can't believe that he'd put his auctioneer license in jeopardy just because of his hate for me and George too. She just got her license. Yep. They just think they're untouchable. So far, the hate group has been pretty much untouchable. Money and influence buys a lot of things. And it doesn't add up to good things, people. Be happy that you can go out there and feel good about life in general. If you hate so much that you go after people till they can't even walk, and you break them and all these things, there's nothing waiting for people like that. Their life is full of misery. They'll always have that cloud raining over their head. Thank your lucky stars that you still have the Lord in your heart and you react to the Lord rather than the devil. That is my take on this whole thing. I do eliminate a lot of it. But if you're like me, and I noticed too, other people there's a lot of people out there don't follow all those channels. And there's good reason for it. I want you to think of how many channels are out there doing this right now, this hate. You cannot keep up with it. It takes more hours in the day than what exists in the normal 24-hour day. And it's round the clock. And it's rhetoric that is repeated over and over and over. It's a boring situation. They make their voices into all kinds of different ways that grate on your nerves. They do it on purpose. Their sole thing in life is to aggravate and destroy. Don't let them do it to you, people. Don't let it. Put your mind somewhere else. Come in here. We'll have coffee together and we'll talk about some things. And we can make fun of it. We're better off to make fun of it than take much store in it. Don't let it hurt your heart. There's nothing that can hurt me more than what's already happened to me. Believe me, losing my wife was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. And I don't look for anything out there that will match it. I'm gathering things around me that remind me of my wife to bring back some of that joy, at least momentarily. My family is still there. They're not gone. And they're not going to run away from me overnight. My friends that come on here and pat me on the back, that's a godsend. The Lord has provided and fills in those gaps that make it so hard to deal with life's down trends out there. I have something to look forward to, and that is to meet people I've never met before come this spring, good Lord willing. Along with that, I'll make a big loop because there's other people I want to see here and relatives and grandkids. They're all over the United States. And for me, it may be the last time I get to do all that, but I need to do it while I still can and while I still got help. And that's what I'm going to do. For you guys out there, watch your back. They're there. Milltown, Dave, yeah. He says, I stay away from all those channels. They feel compelled to insert themselves in my life while passing judgment for me, giving commentary on other videos, not life. Talk about hypocrisy. Here's one that says, he is scared. He is glued to the channel looking for any verbiage about Ohio. Right now, he has no idea what the new lawyer will do. Help he will use evidence, germ. You need to be worried. I would say so. Over 60 people on here, Ray. You are loved. Well, thank you for all of you that are on here. I guess I didn't look down there and realize that there's 60 people on here. For not advertising it and not doing much about it, it's quite a deal. Some of them have had to go on to do other things today, so 60 is quite a few. Let's see. Tanya says, Stacy, yep, Stacy inferior, exactly right. But Knox are inferior, so sad. Two Lees, domino. The domino effect could happen. It could happen very quickly. But I want to caution everyone out there. It can get extremely dangerous for people when things fall apart for people of this makeup. If something happens that the bottom falls out for them, they're going to look for people to blame, and they're going to be very vicious about it. So guard yourself and guard your families. I've already been forewarned that they're going to go after my daughter. It doesn't make me happy. My daughter, I know she'll take precautions. She's a fighter, and she doesn't deserve the crap that they're trying to put on her. But my wife didn't either. She didn't deserve the stuff that they tried to do. The thing of it is they can't do anything to her now. Nothing. These people go after your families. What in the world makes them think that that's a good thing? Well, I can't give you that answer. Paulette says, if you come through North Central Missouri, let me know. Maybe I can meet up with you. Well, North Central Missouri, I've spent a lot of time down in the Sedalia area and Columbia and stuff like that. And I love to fish. I used to go down to Lake Truman, my wife and I. There's different places that we've been in. My wife's family on her mother's side came from Missouri. And some of them still live down there in Missouri. I would love to come down there. I like the state of Missouri. It's the show me state. Stubborn bunch they are. Oh, Steffi said, okay, back in my seat. So she come back for some more. In my opinion, the Walmart video is all they need to have the case dropped. You would think so. But these people, the court system itself is not going to stop this hate. The only thing that can stop it is if they're court ordered to stop it. I don't know if those kind of things are going to happen. I want to remind you, back in 2014, a family, to include the wife and 3 children, had fought this man for 10 years. And a PO was put out there to protect him. And the children had a form of PTSD, according to the people that were assigned to him by the court to try to put this family together. And the result was no such thing was going to happen. The description of the children was one of them had bruises. Another one hid in a toolbox, or not a toolbox, a toy box. 2 of them were so scared to leave the upstairs that they wouldn't answer the police at the door or the mother. The mother cried when she found out somebody had her telephone number. That was after 10 years of harassment. 4 people that have been involved with this person have had a protection order put against this person. Right now, there's millions of people out there that follow this person. I would tell you this. In my whole life, I've never heard of the toxicity that follows this particular type of people. Never. I'm over 80 years old and never run against a group that big. But it's up to the individual to decide what they want to be or where they want to go or who they want to follow. Other than a few things that I like to say out here, you know, my new mode, see that cup? Now it's cold. But that cup of coffee isn't bitter. And it's a way to start my day out with something that's not bitter. And yet, if you want to go back to the very first part, the very first thing on my channel, it was a bitter comment. I beat him to the punch. I had some coffee that tastes sweet. So the bitter comment was like water off a duck's back. And what have I had since then? Well, I've had a bunch of people come in here on a positive note from the very start. It took less than 10 minutes for people to start coming in and talking. And we went over some of the things from Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And yeah, we're talking a little bit about some yo-yo or yo-yos. But we haven't got to a point of threatening or anything like that. We're just pointing stuff out that comes to mind. That's it. We're headed into the holiday season. It's going to be a happy time for us. We get to celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Don't be afraid to say the name. Say it in happiness. All of us, when we get in trouble, we say, oh, Jesus Christ. But we should say, Jesus Christ, in rejoicement. He is there for us, and that's why we use his name so much. And sometimes it's mistaken for a swear word when it's not. It's we're calling out the one person that can help us out of any spot we get into. He's on a first name basis with the Lord, with our God, our creator, our real creator, okay? And you can smile anytime you want without having the wrath and the stuff come down on you. That is your shield. So use it freely. It says here, I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Milltown says, yeah, families should be off limits. People only spoke with Jason because he spoke out and was looking for a platform. I agree with you. When Jason come out there and the way he spoke, as far as I'm concerned, I believe him, and I believe in every word that he said. And the reason being, his eyes don't lie. And as a matter of fact, his lies show some of the problems that he felt. And all of us that listened to his entire speech felt like crying. To this day, when I even think about that poor boy and the things that he went through and his family went through, and the fact that his little sister couldn't face this person that sat across, apparently in another room, she couldn't even look and didn't want her face on something like this, going from one room to the other, to this person who claims a close relationship with her, this little girl. And we worry about other little girls. I worry about that little girl. And the one I'm talking about lives in a small town. And I hope the notoriety that has followed her doesn't follow her into high school. Some things are best left unsaid, is all I can say at this point. When I seen what had happened to a family and the hate that went on there, and I can't help but think that it's been carried over to our channels. And the people that gathered around it and rejoiced. When Jason was being attacked, some of the attackers were the follower of that channel, not Jason's, but one of his closest relatives. It's unfortunate when things like that happen. A family is still a family. My children, no matter what they would say or do, they would always be my kids, regardless. My son, when he passed away, and he was on his deathbed at the time, and we were talking. And he said, Papa, or he said, Dad, I want you to forgive me. And I said, son, there's nothing to forgive. You were forgiven before you ever sinned. You're my son. I said, please don't let that worry you. You see, even though he was on his last minutes or days, or not days, minutes and hours at the time, he was a happy soul, smiling. And he died happy, not mad, not at adverse time with the world. He was my son again. He was in his 40s or close to 40, and a happy boy. To me, he was a boy. He was a full-grown man. I was able to keep my sanity because I knew that he was a born-again Christian and that I could rely on seeing him someday, as I will my wife. So therefore, when I see something like Jason, when he was talking that day, and I was somewhat devastated to see how hurt he was because of the things he received from the closest relative you can have. How can anybody in their right mind justify what happened to this boy, this young man? Nobody that I'm aware of has went back and said, come on back and explain it to us more. They let him speak his piece and go back home and live his life without being tortured by coming on to any of our channels again. He said what he had to say. And when he came on there, he was warning all of us out there what to expect and what he had went through and what his family was still going through, and his mother. And you don't have to believe me. There's court records out there that back it up. The fact that they hate me out there is because I guess I'm one of those that tried to stop some of the hatred that was going to a couple in that small town down there in Florida. And yeah, I can use their names freely on here without feeling bad about it at all. But the more I use the names, the worse I feel, because am I bringing them up here where too many people are going to get involved? Right now, on a monthly basis, it seems like more and more people are gathering around. And it makes me feel bad. No matter how much I help, I can't do much about it. It has grown that much. It's a snowball I haven't been able to stop. It's gained speed and size that I never envisioned. I, I don't know what to say, folks. I never intended to get this deep today, and I don't feel what you call real bad right now about it. It's the fact of what brought us to this point today. What brought us here? The people that are being sued, and it's not to prove anything other than to take and bankrupt them by the person that's suing it. Said that they don't care whether they win. They want to bankrupt us, and none of us are millionaires. And it's not that we have a lot to lose. You can't take my family away from me. You can't take my Savior away from me. And I'm between Thanksgiving and Christmas right now, one of the happiest times of year. One of the best meals I've had this year was yesterday with my neighbors, the neighbors that supposedly these people were going to go talk to. The threats that have come through this year are unbelievable. Last year, the happiest day that I felt for the entire day was when a little girl was given a Christmas, and I got to see this person everybody had been talking about. She was happy. Her speech is articulate. She was a sharing little girl. I guess one of the things I was happy about was so many people gave to see this thing happen. And you know what happened the rest of the year? Every time somebody came up and said something, a need, prayers went up for them. Money was gathered. People were helped over humps. I was able to see the blossoming of goodness out there from one little channel that was like the little train that wouldn't quit. I've always called it the little channel with big hearts. None of you probably know who that is. Maybe all of you do. I'm hoping that what this channel started is a trend that will last beyond my lifetime. I owe a lot to Lisa and the people that are around Lisa. And as many times as people have come and said, you need to take a better look. And every time I did, I seen more goodness and more goodness. And Gabe, I love the guy. Those two are family, and they will do anything for each other. And people that join them, they're glad to jump in there and help them out. And they get fooled once in a while, and they get right back on their feet, and they do things right over again and help somebody out. They're taking a beating I haven't had to take, along with other people that they've tried to help out. So I would say this: if you get a chance and you can join in with somebody like Lisa, whether you like Lisa or not, you got to like what she does. Now, she's a true fighter. I wouldn't piss her off too bad if I was you. And Tori, I appreciate Tori so much. I can depend on her. She has a spirit, a tiger, if you will. And between the lion, and I'm talking about Lion, the cat, and the tiger, the two of them build up a channel of not hate, but of love for their fellow person. and they've gave more of themselves than anybody I know out there on trying to help. And it's very small channel. People there, if you measure by what they have and what they give more than any millionaire out there. Each of them that came in there to help people out. I wish that I had more to give, and there's no doubt about it. There are times where I'll have to dip in my pocket because my conscience won't let me not. And I'm going to be looking forward to taking care of this court case. And when it's over, then I'll be able to spread a little more out than I am now. I have to bank a little bit. It's like putting coal in a stove and banking it the fire so that next morning you still have some heat. That's what I'm doing right now. And I have put something aside just for that purpose. And when that purpose is over, depending on what it costs me, means how much I can help out other people. Lisa led the way, and I fully plan on doing that. And the goodness of her husband should lead the way for the rest of us. That the fact that none of us are perfect, you can look at some people out there that are doing their best to be perfect. Much better job than what I've ever done. I rejoice in what they've done. That Christmas party last year, I can't tell you how much it healed my heart. I had given up just about mankind itself because of how I seen things going. Half the people hate the other half of people. Sometimes when I look out there and I look at the channels, I'm thinking, whew, it's kind of like 90% against just 10% of us that are still out there on our feet and following the way of the Lord. And I say that religiously. I should, because that's how I believe. And they can attack me. They can't take away from what I have. They don't judge for the Lord. They judge for themselves. What they bestow on you is what they are. Believe me, they are. You've seen me in a pretty happy mode today because I am in a time of rejoicing because I'm between two holidays. I was able to have fun. You know, yesterday, while I was eating, okay, and by that time I was on the dessert. The meal was over. And my daughter called on FaceTime and they were able to talk to the family that had asked me over there for a meal. And she happens to be friend with the head of household over there, the gal that cooked it all. So she talked to her and her husband while I was sitting down there with my chocolate pie with whipped cream on it. And we had a good time. Two families joined together momentarily on FaceTime. What a great thing that was. I hope all of you had as much fun as I did. For the last few months, it's been extremely tough for me to not so much get up in the morning, but to maintain myself during the day, those lonesome times. All of you on there have helped me so much, whether through prayers or telling me things that you've went through and how you've made it to the other side. I love all of you, truly, with my heart. My heart is not hard. It has some hard spots on it because life does that to you. But you can't let it be encapsulated. You still have to have enough room in there for everything that's goodness out there. And everybody here in this channel represents that goodness. And you can go to the Lord with a clear conscience when you go out there and do the things of his bidding. And you guys are doing that on a daily basis, every day. I couldn't be happier than to see you help others. It's the way I was raised. And I'm no angel. All right, well, let's get back into here. Let's see. Cole says, can't believe any of these people have followers. Goes to show you how sick people are. The followers are people one of the same breed. It's not that they were made that way because they followed it. They were that way before they followed, I believe. There's somebody on here. Oh, Paulette says she spreads the truth. Thank you, Lisa Lee and Gabe. Uh, Helen says have to make up stuff about Lisa, Guapo, Dave, etc. because they have nothing bad to say about them. That is true. 100% Ray. That's Stacy. Helen says beautiful souls. Bonita says give me knowledge and your wisdom to give me and possibly others that's priceless. I think the best thing I could tell you is that the stories of the Bible will help you guide your life and show you the good and bad. You don't have to experience it necessarily in real life if you can read the Bible. I know that it's hard to sit down and go over something that was written so many years ago, but it does depict what was, what is, and what will be. The last part of it is the book of Revelations, and it's pretty hard to decipher. We can only imagine. Oh, let's see. I love being a part of an amazing, beautiful Christmas. It's what matters, helping others, no matter what that help is. Love is one of the biggest helps we can give. It was so beautiful. The lights, the smiles, and the way people talked, and they all came together for a celebration. And I can't help but think that the Lord was there walking with everybody out there that day. What better gift can we give the Lord than to give of ourselves to all of his children? His children being you and I and our children's children and children. Given to each other is godly. So it's Christian. Let's see, Paulette, judging is for God. Not him will be judged in the end for sure. Yeah, we have to be careful when we judge other people. It's not that we can't make a decision, because all through the Bible, we're given the power to look at people and make a decision about them. But carrying through that judgment as to the punishment of those persons, it doesn't really behoove us sometimes. Although we do that. We have man's law that do take over that role. And sometimes we're part of it either through a jury. There are certain things I can't do. And I would never pull the switch for an electrical chair, nor will I ever push the poison in somebody's body. That I couldn't do. It wouldn't be in my heart. It is so nice to be part of a community that cares about each other. This is a true community that believes in just those things. Gabe came on and he says, "Hey, Ray." Not Gabe. You got here too late. We already talked about you. Fear not those that can kill the body, but rather fear the one who can kill the body and soul in hell. I hope all of you know that when you're born, you're given a soul to nurture and it is laid bare at the day of judgment. All those things you did for or against will be opened up as your soul is judged by good Lord. Let's see. Tricky Cheese says, happy belated Thanksgiving, Ray. Thank you, Tricky Cheese. Gee. Steffi, you're speaking for a lot of us here now, Ray. The same feeling beats in our own heart that does yours. I actually feel sorry for a lot of them. The coldness of their hearts they live with is what would do me in. It does reflect on their self. What we do is what we are. So remembering that, hopefully you can turn yourself around. I think the YouTubers should reread the story in the Bible about Job. He was lifted from the ashes. I would like to have the patience of Job. He was somebody that really went through a rough time with his testing from the Lord. Oh, Gabe is on here, everybody. So say hi to Gabe. Lucinda said, good morning, Gabe. Looks like good friends and a good meal yesterday. Did you a lot good, Ray? It did. I, it honestly picked my spirits up a lot. Looks like good friends and a good meal yesterday did you a lot of good, Ray. Oh, yep, I just said, oh boy, I just said that. We were able to join both families through uh, uh, our Facebook or FaceTime. Uh, Man, I can't believe that on the telephone. You dial in somebody and the whole family gets on there from both sides. It was great. First time I've ever done that on a holiday. Lisa says, I heard we love you too, Ray. That's Gabe's favorite story in the Bible. Dave, which story? Yeah, about Jonathan. Let's see. Tricky Cheese says, hello, Gabe. Left you a present in your chair. You better look before you sit, I guess. Be careful. Milltown. Yes, Lisa, mine as well. I have been reading and learning a lot. The Bible is a very powerful book. It is. Every time that you'll read through the Bible, you'll get a little bit of a different meaning in it as you walk through life. The lessons in there are lessons that last eternity. And if you do it with an open mind, you'll be a better person for it. Gabe said it's too late. I had to change my pants. We can only guess at what was waiting in his chair. Bonita says, laugh out loud. Tricky Chi is all smiles now, Gabe. So you got your greeting and your present, apparently. Let's see. Okay, Tricky, I see what it was. We just don't use that spray out there. You're going to chase him out of the room. But I don't know who hid it, though. Either Lisa or Gabe hid that can of the room deodorizer. Ren says, I'm back. Hi, Gabe. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Tricky. Hi, Benita. So Ren is back for all of you to say something. And Ren says, hi, Dave. Let's see. Everybody likes to greet everybody. We come and go and we're still here, but at least you're having a good time on the day after Thanksgiving. I'm surprised more of you haven't already headed out to shop at Black Friday. My understanding is there's quite a few crowds out there saving money by spending it. I've never quite understood the analogy, how you can save money by spending it. Salesmen use that all the time. Look how much you can save if you buy today. The way I look at it, if you spend it, it's gone. Let's see. Gabe wants to know what you ate, Tricky. Let's see. Lauren says, the Lord brings out the meaning to each person's soul. What is needed from the scripture may mean something in one person's life and another to someone else. The Bible is full of parables out there for each of us to decipher and mold to our time in life a lot of times. And as we go back over them, as life has entered into our bank of memories, the parables come with more meaning at that time. So there's a good bunch here this morning. I like just having a cup of coffee with everyone like this in the morning. Unfortunately, what's left of mine's cold. Oh, well, Julie says, I've got to go back to work. See y'all. Nice chatting. Well, is that Gabe or Lisa? You got to put your name up there. And this is the day after Thanksgiving. You're supposed to take a 4-day weekend this weekend. Today is the day to save money by spending money. I thought everybody knew that. That's what we've been told. Paula says, I have not shopped Black Friday for 20 some years. Went through my 30-year-old kids were young. That was enough shopping Black Friday for me. Yeah, at my age, I pretty much have everything I've ever wanted, or I don't know if there's things out there that I would run out there and fight people for on Black Friday to get a bargain. I'm about bargained out. I don't have room for a lot of stuff. Geez, guys, thank you, Ray. You always lift me up. I truly appreciate positive love and sharing the word of the Lord and Savior. I must go for now. May your day be filled with all that you share with us. Well, thank you, G Skies. Tricky Chief says, I'm done with my shopping back in October. Gotcha. A lot of people do have their shopping done before then. A lot of them start in July. Nikki said, spending all that money and for what? Just to try and improve a point which will not end well for the person who spends out of both sides of the mouth. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Helen says, I've never shopped on Black Friday ever. Don't plan to. A lot of times leading up to Friday, I know at least in the case of Walmart, they already have specials that they put out on the floor during the day. So that's it. Anytime around Thanksgiving, the sales start. There's bargains out there. They're trying to get rid of the inventory before the end of the year. A lot of times, things they've had maybe too long, and sometimes they get a lot from the different warehouses into their stores to unload quickly. So, Lucinda says, I've only been out on Black Friday once in my life. We went out to a real small town. Walmart made out like a fat rat. Now, when I was younger in the blue light night at Kmart, family friends night, I remember the blue light at Kmart. Before Kmart, there was a store called Spartan. It was the same type of a store, a bargain store. My wife, when she was very young, that was the first job she ever took, was at a Spartan department store. That was just before Kmart became a thing. Rin, heading to my grandma, going to spend the day with her. Well, that's a good thing to do, Rin. I'm glad to see that. Milltown, the only thing I have my eyes on is a Walmart. They have a 4K camera drone for $50. Wow. Huh. I didn't know that. You'll have to get skilled at it, Super Dave, and put it on your channel so we can see what you're after. I've got a good idea. I know that you don't plan on or want to go to Florida, but when I get down there in the spring, if you came down, you could use that drone and we could do some high aerial shots, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Oh, Lauren says, Milltown, that is why I like to use the YouVersion app. It has where you can read the same scripture with all the Bible versions, and then they pick a mister that talks about the scripture. Anytime you get on YouTube. Okay. Believe it or not, you can ask a question referring to a Bible or a passage in the Bible that you want to see, and it'll bring it up within a few seconds. If you have a question that you want to use, it doesn't matter what religion you are. The chances are all you have to do is bring up that religion and the question you have of the scrolls, and it will come up with an answer for you. It's there. I have a lot of information in the back of my Bible that refers you back into the Bible for things if you have questions. My mother gave it to me back when I was in my 20s. It was a leather-bound Bible, and part of the things are coming apart on the pages, but I still have it. And I also have one that I had received from the church when I was 8 or 9, maybe 10 years old. I was pretty young. That was my first Bible that I actually owned, and it was given out during one of our classes. Let's see. Ren says, yes, spending as much time with her before my biopsy. Well, good luck on your biopsy, Ren. Let's see. Puppy is on your dresser. I don't think so. Milltown, downloading now, Lauren. Milton, I think you might like the King James. It gets hard for me to understand, and it helps to see the different versions to help understand. There are some King James conversions, into our English or American style language out there. I still have an older version. Of course, mine's quite old anyway. Thank you, Ray. It's December 9th. I'll try to remember that day so I can pray for you, Ren. I'll pray for you ahead of time anyway. What else we got there? We're probably rounding down, and goodness sake, here's Central Standard Time. It's almost 11 o'clock. I've been on here not only long enough to have a cold cup of coffee, it might be evaporating. It seems to be getting stronger as I get closer to the bottom. It still tastes good. It's cold. Ren says, thank you, Ray. My thoughts will be with you. Ren says it's almost noon here. You must be Eastern Standard Time out there. I'm in Central Standard Time here. I believe Dave is too. Milltown is probably getting close to 11 o'clock. Oh, what else we got here? Ricky says, I made him look. Yeah, you did. I was trying to figure out what you were talking about. I used to have years ago, I traveled a lot. And we had one of our first shelties we had was a different color. This one's black and white, but our first one was brown and white. His name was Buddy. And my wife found a little toy that barked like a sheltie and looked like a sheltie. And she bought that for me on my birthday. And she gave that to me to take so I wouldn't get lonesome for our pup when I'd be on the road. I worked construction, and a lot of times I was gone 4 nights a week. I was always home 2 nights a week in 3 days, or almost 3 days. So I got to come home, and the only reason that I even did a job like that was it paid well, and it was the best way for me to save for retirement. But that little pup, that little toy, sat on my desk. Now I've got the toy here somewhere. I've got to put it out here. I want to show you guys. I can reach out and squeak it, and it'll start barking. It was a lot of company to me. Now, in the last month, there is a toy dog on here that, from what I can see, looks and acts just like a real puppy. And would love to had one like that that looked like a Sheltie one during all those days at work. All those years, I've always had a picture of my wife sitting there. And in fact, uh, in my kitchen out there, I have multiple pictures of my wife. I've always had carried them in my billfold to the part of almost wearing them out. Clear back to when my wife was 14 and 15 years old. I've got pictures that go back that far. They always bring me joy. They're always the memories, Uh, oh, somebody rang my phone. I don't know who it was. I hear it out there. It says, Ray, my dad ordered that one for my mom for Xmas. She misses her dog Candy a lot. Steffi, will you do me a favor? When you get it, will you let me know if it's as good as what's on the on here? It looks so real and acts so real. I don't know how they did it, but I'd sure like to know if it's as good as what they say. Okay, thank you so much, Steffi. uh, one thing, so many of you have been so good to me. I hope I can match that goodness with you guys. Yeah, my wife's gone, and she always kept it like a little journals here and there, different places, and I've got calendars in that back here that go back 8 or 9 years, maybe longer, of happenings daily, what was going on. And the other day, and she had not a nightstand, but a stand next to her rocking chair out there. And she talked about something. I think it was something she ate. And on the end of it, she didn't like whatever it was. And she said, ugh. And she wrote that out. And that was so much like my wife. My wife was full of one-liners. And, she had a sense of humor. It's hard to believe that I don't get bit once in a while I'm sitting here, because there were so many of them that my wife would send across the room to me. Not the notes, but that verbiage. But when I picked that note up and looked at it, it made my day. And I went through a few things and found notes here and there. And I'm assuming I'm going to find more of them, and they'll make my day. Maybe it was her way of parting gifts that she knew someday I was going to need to get over some of the heartaches if something had happened, that she would be first. We never planned that she would go before me. I can't believe it. Oh, let's see. Jenny says, I had one, not really the same. Have one, but felt better. Yeah. It seems like more and more things are invented today to help us in some way. And that little pup, I could see, would help a lot of people, children and older people in particular. I agree with you, Dave. I want to remind all of you that the King James Version was a select amount of scrolls put into one book that was approved many years ago. And it's went through more than one translation. So as you're going through there, certain words have a different meaning by today's meaning. I think maybe part of that's because we need somebody that has went through the education of understanding the Bible, the different colleges, religious colleges, can help you along that path for the first time you go through a Bible. And then through understanding, you can come up with the things that mean the most to you in the scriptures. Let's see. Do you hear what I hear? Yes. Do you hear what I hear? I I have a song out there, White Christmas, and I think it's still in my videos out there. The reason I haven't been putting songs up recently, some of the policies for YouTube have changed, and the songs I was able to put up before, somebody else was able to that claims the song was able to utilize it for their use for monetary reasons, and all of a sudden, YouTube said I can't do it anymore. Whoever it was allowing it on mine no longer allows it. The last song that I put up was in my post, and it was called "The Things That Children Say," and they were only allowed for me to put up about a minute of it. I can put all the songs I want up, but I can only play them for a minute under post, and I didn't want to deteriorate a song to where you only hear pieces of it. It's so until I can come up with different permissions, and I'm looking into some of that to see if I'm going to be able to do it off from a different venue. Right now, for any of you, I belong to a outfit called SingSnap, SingSnap. It's called SingSnap. And you can get on there if you want. It doesn't cost you a nickel. And they have what they call a gold version, which is costs you about $150 a year. And on that one, you have full privileges of singing, and you can modify the pitch and stuff like that with it. There's thousands and thousands of songs on there, and you can record them for your use if you want, or not. You can, cross them out as you go if you want to. But it's called SingSnap, and it's probably the best version you're going to get out there. I use it mainly for exercise, and I don't always do a good job because I don't take my time. I just get in there and sing it and go on with business or go on with life. But anytime you want to hear some singing, whether it's myself or anybody else, go ahead and get on there. SingSnap, SingSnap. They'll let you in. There's a thing for downloading it if you want to join it. You can join for free. You'll still be allowed to sing songs. And you can save, it's either 3 or 5 songs if you want to on your channel. And you can socialize on your channel as a non-paying person. It's a channel that does not allow any criticism of any kind. And it's meant for social, to be completely social, good social, not bad. So I would say anybody out there that wants to have a little bit of pleasure and likes to sing once in a while, give a try to the free version. Sing your heart out. Anytime you want to sing more than the 5 songs, you have to drop one of them so you can record another one to keep it. Record all you want. You just can't keep the songs. You can only keep 5 at a time. And you can sing duets and stuff like that. So you can have a good time. Just do that. And once you join, you're okay. The free version first, get your feet wet. A lot of times people will award you a month's use of the gold just to see what it's like for you. And you can always go on the chat and say, look, I don't quite have the money, but I would like to try at least a month. And somebody will come along and sponsor you for a month. So give it a try. Nobody can hear it unless you want them to hear it. Let's put it that way. I've got, I don't know, there's over 1,000 songs on there that I put up, maybe more than that. It's a lot. A few years ago, I cleaned out the early ones and knocked them all down. So Like I say, if you want to hear some of the songs, go on there. Some of mine are okay, some not so much. Uh, White Christmas is the one that's still on my channel, though. You just have to go down through the different ones, and it'll say on there. It says my driver is playing Christmas music. Jenny says, "Love your stories. Make a melody of songs 1 minute each." Yeah, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Jingle bells, jingle bells. Brenda Lee, her song, "Dancing Around the Christmas Tree." Let's see. Give Tricky a puppy snack. Gives Tricky a puppy snack. Oh, okay. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is one of my favorites. Yeah. What about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer back when you were a child? And it's a lesson in the song, right? Remember? Everybody picked on Rudolph, and then on a foggy night, they let his shiny nose, the shiny light, guide the way. You remember that? That's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's a lesson in a song. Little Drummer Boy, I remember that. Elvis Christmas, yes. Jenny said, "Hubby just took my dog to the vet. I hope everything's okay. I took mine the day before yesterday." Bonita says, "I have to go. Much love. Bless everyone. Thank you for the morning chat, Ray." Well, we're getting close to lunchtime here. It's a little after 11. I've had fun this morning, everybody out there, and I think I better get off and let you go back to doing your day. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I know you have plenty of work to take care of, and it's a holiday for all of you. And I hope you all enjoy it and that you're with your families that you love. I had a good day yesterday. I'll be talking to different relatives today, I'm sure. And there's things I've got to take care of here. I need to vacuum, believe it or not. It's been almost a week. I'm going to have me another cup of coffee, even though it's close to lunchtime. I meant to have a second cup while I was here, but it didn't happen. If everybody likes to start the mornings out with a cup of coffee and we can just sit and have a good time, as long as you want it, I don't mind putting it on for an hour and a half. I don't want to go quite as long as I did here because it'll disrupt every day so much that after a while, it'll get too much routine and you won't really enjoy it. But we can get on here for an hour and a half and discuss the things that we might want to do the day or what happened the day before. It probably would be a good thing to try to keep on subjects that make us happy, whether it be a recipe. One of the recipes that I'm pursuing, and I fully intend on doing it, is one that's kind of like a vanilla pie. And it's got different names depending on where you're from. And it's made with, you can make it with half and half or milk or full cream if you want to, or a mixture thereof, and sugar and vanilla and a little bit of cornstarch. And of course, you make a flat, flaky crust if you can. If you can't, you can always do a graham cracker crust. But this pie will melt in your mouth. My wife used to do it. I love that pie. I could eat that pie. I know I could sit down and eat a half a pie and not even know I ate it. That was that good. If I can even come close to matching it, I will. If it's a success, I'll try to hold myself to only eat half of it and show you the other half and give you the recipe and explain to you if it even comes close to my wife's version. I doubt if it will, but I'm going to give it a try. She made great cream pies, cherry pies. She didn't make too many pumpkin pies, but the ones she made were good. And with a little whipped cream, can't beat them. I've had custard pies. I've had the raisin custard pies. Oh, let's see. Her mother made a fantastic raisin custard pie. Oh, it's good. Oh, what else? Rhubarb pie. I love rhubarb and strawberry pie. I have to be careful how many strawberries I eat. Now I seem to have a problem with it. I'm a little allergic to strawberries for some reason, and I love them. What other pie do I like? Oh man! Oh, pecan pie. I had one a few days ago, and it wasn't the greatest because they shorted it of the part that tastes the best. I'm not. It had a lot of pecans on it. The filler, it was just not much of it, and it was disappointing. I'll have to change to a different brand or make my own. They're not that hard to make. My wife used to make them once in a while, and they were great. Let's see what else. You know what I do have in the refrigerator? Have any of you ever had shepherd's pie? I've got a version of it. Yes, it's a frozen meal, a big one. But I'm going to go ahead and cook it up sometime this weekend because it actually ends up being two meals for me, and it's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got some vegetables and hamburger and mashed potatoes and stuff like that. And I'm going to put cheese topping on it and let it brown off a little bit when I get done. And some of my own seasoning in there. I love hot things, whether it's peppers, jalapenos, or even the real hot peppers, the little green peppers. I've got those. Oh my, I'm talking about something to eat and I'm starved now. It's such a way to go. Jenny says, have a great day. Love you, Ray. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. Jenny says she's drinking hers on a warmer. I got to get something like that. That might help. I've seen them, and that would be a big get. I could have a bigger cup that way and set it on there and keep it warm. Let's see. Nikki says, may God bless you, Ray, and shine his face upon you and give you grace and peace in Jesus' name. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Yeah, I'm not getting attacked as much as a lot of other people. They're kind of ganging up on me the last couple of days, but I haven't been looking at it. So I guess what I don't see can't hurt me. It may influence others. Those that make a decision about me without having talked, I guess that's on them. But they're free to come and go as they wish. I opened this up really, and for the most part, it's not been bad. The very first one was the most toxic of all the people out there that I'm aware of. And he was only on there once and went about his business. I'm sure they took screenshots of what's on here, and they'll talk about it over the next few days. It always gives them fodder. But please feel free. As long as I can, I'll do my best to come up and have something in the mornings. Right now, I'm up very early because the pup gets me up. And when I get my coffee ready to go, well, then I'll try to bring a version up here, and we'll have a shot at it for an hour and a half. I know we can't do it as long as I have. Dan says shepherd's pie has lamb. Cottage pie has beef. Okay. Well, mine actually says shepherd's pie, and it's made with beef. And of course, it's from Walmart. It's a Walmart brand, and that's the way they do it. I love lamb. It's tender. It has good taste to it. And I used to buy a leg of lamb once in a while. And I know it's very expensive right now, but it's very easy to season and cook up and have. I'm certainly going to pick out a few chops or a leg one of these days to fix out there. Every once in a while, for us, it was a specialty because of the cost of it. It says they come with a cup lid and a warmer. Mine's pink, favorite color. That's Jenny. For your information, y'all are here with me, keeping me warm. Thanks again, Lisa. More than likely, I'll probably pick out if they have colors, if and they have the set, I'll probably pick out something like, oh, whether it's black or kind of a, green, colored, more than likely. The only thing pink I've got around here is, obviously my wife has blessed me with this for me to find, and I explained it the other day. Look at that. There's two hearts on there. She made that up some time ago. And I didn't know it till the other day. I moved it from back there, looked at it, uh, didn't actually see it, put it over there. The light shined on the hearts. I picked it up to look at it and realized there's two hearts on there, hers and mine. I don't know why I didn't notice it before. And shame on me for not noticing that she had decorated that hat. She wore the hat. I just didn't see it for what it was. And now I do, and now it's on the desk, and it'll always be somewhere where I'm at. And it doesn't make me sad. It makes me happy because I know what she was thinking. Well, with that, I want to say goodbye, everybody. Till tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll come back on here tomorrow, and we'll see how it works out. To all of you, have a great weekend out there. I hope you all have a blessed day and blessed weekend. Don't let the haters out there get you down. Uh, Maybe by some of us getting together, we can get past that portion of it because there's so many people out there that love just what they are and what you are. It's you that counts, not what somebody else thinks of you. Sometimes we have to just look past that. These same people that hate us so bad that they call us out, they hate what we look like. They hate our families. They have no room for anything else. If you would, feel sorry for them. Maybe the Lord will soften their heart, and maybe they'll become something that they can be proud of for themselves so that they can share the goodness out there that the good Lord has given us with others. We can pray for it and hope for it. We that don't hate have already been blessed with the Lord's graciousness. So with that, try to smile. And I'm going to end the stream. See you soon.